first, then you'll always end up where you want to go. The last thing I'll say about that is, and then I can answer any other questions too, is in the classic Alice in Wonderland, Alice is trying to figure out where she's at and where she wants to be. And she comes to this tree, and in the tree is this cat, right? It's the Cheshire cat. And the cat asks Alice where she's going, right? And she says, well, I don't know.
Welcome to the Gentleman's Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast, where we bring to you the most successful, happy, fulfilled gentlemen from around the world who have been able to conquer themselves, their life, their marriage, and their businesses. You will be learning from four-dimensional gentlemen who have cracked the code to the science of having it all. The question is, how can married entrepreneurs with kids become gentlemen, achieve true freedom, and build a successful, happy, and fulfilled life, marriage, and business? This show will give you the answer for that. My name is Alex Ramirez, and I'm your host, and you're welcome to the Gentleman's Success, Happiness, Fulfillment Talk podcast. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of the Gentleman's Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. Today, I have an incredible guest that will be talking about something very awesome that I really like, which is, building a startup with zero money with recurring revenue. I love that, which is that's what I'm currently doing. So this is going to be great. I'm excited to get to talk to him, get to learn from him, and get to connect with him. But before I introduce this gentleman to you, though, I just want to give a big shout out to all of you who have been leaving comments, reviews, and likes on all the major podcasting platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify, and to those who have been watching on YouTube as well. Thank you very much. You are the reason why we do what we do. And today I want to ask you for a small favor. I want to ask you that if you get something out of this interview, if you get some type of value, some type of insight, a skill, new information, or the inspiration to go out and take action and make some progress towards your goals, I want to ask you to please share this episode with 10 people. Share it on social media, post the link on Facebook, Instagram, on your story, whatever. But share it with 10 friends, since this is how we grow. This is how we share. This is how we're able to share our message and motivate, inspire, and bless more people out there to change their lives. And today, I have Roger Comstock, right? I got it right, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome. And he's a serial entrepreneur who has developed an affinity and obsession for business and helping people. And he teaches individuals how to start recurring revenue businesses without venture capital, super important, debt, or real estate through the utilization of digital assets. So I'm excited to talk about that. He is the CEO and founder of $0 startup, Tuple, Flipr, and Comstock Consulting, right? A bunch of things right there. And Roger loves being with his family, especially with his sweetheart, Kayla. She's literally his best friend. He enjoys being outside, golfing, camping, learning, thinking, reading, laughing, accomplishing goals, and helping people understand and reach their potential. And he has a golden noodle, right? A dog.
Yes, that's right. A golden doodle. That's right.
Oh, okay, cool. And his name is Max, who's basically your shadow. Yeah, that's cool, man. Is he trained?
Yeah, he is. I've had him since he was just a puppy, and he basically goes everywhere with me. When he's here, we've been trying to have some puppies, and so he's been gone for a little bit, but he'll be back on Sunday, so that'll be good.
Cool. Well, you can follow Roger on IG, on Instagram at roger.comstock, and learn more about what he does with $0 startup.com and everything that he has going on. So Roger, thank you very much for being here, man. Thank you for making time. I'm excited to have you, and you are welcome, man.
Dude, I am grateful to invest time with you, Alex. Thanks so much for having me on your show, brother.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Thank you. And the first thing that I do with my guest, Roger, is I tell them to walk us through their entrepreneurial journey in 75 seconds or less.
I love it, man. Dude, let's do it. Well, I think people would, they wouldn't be honest if they didn't say that entrepreneurship is challenging, and it can be challenging. Thankfully, right now, it's awesome. It's been an absolute blast, but everybody goes through difficult things on the path and road of entrepreneurship, and I'm no exception. So in the beginning, I was in a cushy job. I had a blast there, worked with friends, free lunch, all that stuff. I decided to leave that position, gave up $10,000 cash and a raise in salary to leave. It was super scary. I wanted to cry. I wanted to throw up. It was nerve wracking, but started my own company. And this was about 6 years ago. And it has been an absolute blast. A lot of learning along the way. I've made God my business partner, and it's super helpful to have his help, through all of the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. And now it's enjoyable to be able to work with a really, really great team, people that I invest time with that are doing an exceptional job at helping to grow the business. It's been a lot of fun.
Cool. I like it. So 6 years ago, you took the leap into entrepreneurship.
Yes, sir.
Cool. So you how old are you, man? I'm just curious.
33.
Extremely young. That's awesome. So 33, you were 27 when you took the leap. And that's great, man. I also feel like, I don't know if, God, right? Or, you can call it different things, but I also feel like someone is helping me, right? Like someone is helping me, man. Someone is putting ideas on my mind. I'm operating by my core values, which something put in there, right? Respect, humility, wisdom, motivate, inspire, bless, right? That's what I live for every single day. And by living through them and just being patient and just, staying calm, insights come, opportunities come, I meet people, the right circumstances. So I would say that, God is my business partner as well, man.
I love that, dude. Well,
So
he's he definitely helps. That's for sure. And I think I was 28 when I started. So it was probably about five and a half years ago.
Cool. Yeah. So when did you realize that you had such an incredible business partner, man?
Oh, dude, I think in life, one of the lessons that everybody has to learn is that we can't do things alone, right? A lot of times we feel like we can, or that we should, but we learn really quickly that we have to lean on other people. It's interesting, like redwoods, the tallest trees, they have a 30-foot diameter. They can reach, upwards of 300 feet tall. They have a really shallow root system, which is interesting. So these behemoths of trees don't have deep roots. They're shallow roots, but they hold on to each other, right? And it keeps them standing. And I love that kind of analogy and metaphor in our own lives, that we all start out as small seeds, but have the opportunity to grow into these large trees. We all have a lot of potential, but in order to do so, we have to learn how to lean on each other, and kind of lock arms with the people around us. And in my case, I would consider God to be one of those people that I've chosen to lock arms with,
I love that. And yeah, you're right. Right. A lot of things we start as entrepreneurs thinking that we can do everything, first of all, right? Because I don't know, maybe of ego, arrogance, I don't know. But yeah, like I started thinking that I could do everything, right? Like I would set like 20 goals in a year and wouldn't achieve any of them. Now I only set like 2 or 1, right? 2 or 3 goals at max, and I actually achieve them. And, we also then think that we should do everything by ourselves, but that hasn't been the case, right? Like when I started to get help this year, I started hiring, I started building a team, and like my life has gotten really exciting, right? I'm actually a leader now. So I've gotten help, but for some reason I thought that I should do everything by myself. So when did you make that shift, man? How long did it take you?
I think as an entrepreneur, you have to learn it fairly quickly, right? And I think a lot of businesses don't end up making it simply because individuals aren't curious or they're not willing to learn. In my life, there's this kind of ideology that I live by. And it is never wanting to feel like I have arrived, right? Or that I've made it. I call it the arrival syndrome. And so sometimes you see people who feel like they've got it all figured out. They don't have to ask any more questions. They know everything there is to know. And the one thing that I've come to understand is that there's always more to learn. There's always, I can always become better. I can always be looking for opportunities to improve or to give back. And learning that at an early period in my in my entrepreneurial journey has really helped me to be able to invest my time around incredible people, being really clear about the goals that I have, and being intentional about the people that I invest time with has allowed me to build a lifestyle that I really enjoy.
Nice. Okay. So constantly learning, constantly improving yourself and surrounding yourself with other high level people. So man, walk me through this through this 5.5 year journey. Like you said that right now. Anyone who says that entrepreneurship is easy, right, is probably lying. And there's always challenges, right? I've had my challenges. You probably had your challenges. So let me hear about that, man. I wanna know about your journey.
Yeah, you bet, man. So I started a company called Tuple, which was an absolute blast. And it was I mean, I remember when I first started, I'd gotten an MBA, which I would never suggest for anybody to do. I'd gone to business school, got an MBA, and felt like it was going to be a golden ticket right into the business world, and it's not. I didn't feel like a lot of what I learned within that program was immediately applicable to life after school. And so after I'd got my job, I felt like, man, I want to make a dent or an impact in the world. I want to do something that allows me to influence other people for good. And I figured a business would be the best way to go about that. So when I started the company, I had no clue what I was doing, zero clue. Thankfully, I had a friend that at least had kind of been there and done that in some ways that I could go to for help and asking questions to. But I remember not knowing what I was doing. I was on this road in the middle of Utah that was just, I was knocking on doors, on business doors, going door to door, trying to find somebody that needed me to help them build a website. It was really discouraging, right? It was just super, super discouraging. It was hot. I remember, I think it was mid-July. It's kind of like the old stories that everybody tells where it's just like you're roasting outside. It's a miserable experience. No one wants to work with you. And rejection, it's just like, man, yeah, it's like, why am I doing this? I remember sitting down and just thinking like, what in the world was I thinking? And it seems to always be this way too. I believe in life, a lot of the growth always happens in the last 5%. Like at the gym, it's really, really cool. I can tell, you work out and that the growth that we experience happens on those reps that are the hardest, right? That it's when we don't feel like going on that we end up experiencing the largest benefit of the workout. And in life, it's the same way. Like I remember the day that I got my first deal and I was knocking doors and I was just like, man, this is crazy. None of this is working. And the last door that I ended up knocking on, like the last rep, right? I knocked on this door and this individual came to me. He worked at a large university here in Utah and they needed this big website built. It ended up being about $11,000-ish, $11,900. And thankfully I'd learned that it's best if I don't do the work. I found fulfillment teams or a fulfillment team to do the work. And then shortly after that, I closed a deal that was $23,000 and $68,000. And it was nice because I learned that when we do things that are uncomfortable and learn, and are willing to be curious, read, and not just read, but apply what we're learning, things end up working out. And so the business took off. I had an absolute blast, but from there, I decided that I wasn't a big fan of doing the website and app building stuff. I wanted to branch out into some software stuff. So we partnered up with a software company, licensed their product and sold it to a bunch of people, which was super fun. And then kind of grew from there. We grew the team. We had a blast together. And then I figured other people wanted to be able to learn how to do the same thing. And so I started this company, $0 Startup, which allows other people to kind of avoid the challenging parts that I went through. They can take a shortcut to the most exciting parts of the business. They still have to grow and learn and be willing to do hard things. But
yeah, for sure.
It's been a lot of fun.
Cool. $0 Startup. So, this is like to help people escape the 9 to 5 and start something that's even better than real estate and crypto, right? Which is like a recurring revenue model. Is that what you do?
Yeah, you bet. Some of it's upfront capital and some of it's passive and recurring. And so nice. One of our students went from $0 his first month to making around $30,000 in his 8th month in the program. And so he loved it. He left accounting. He was about a year ago. He was in a cubicle working a 9-to-5 job. And now he owns 2 businesses and is absolutely crushing it. So it's super fun to be able to see what people are doing.
That's really cool, man. I love, this recurring revenue model. Actually, like my business is my current business is helping people with their podcast, right? But we combine podcasting with this concept, with this system that we call the cloak track, right? To help people create a multi-million-dollar network, right? So we use podcasting as a networking tool, combining with the cloak track to help people build a multi-million-dollar network of people who will help them achieve bigger goals faster and with less effort. So, right, that's what we do. And our like service is absolutely amazing. At least, I've talked to a lot of people and we're far superior. I really believe that. I'm not like just I don't think that, like I know. And we have a recurring revenue model, man. And by the end of this year, I started this business like 2 months ago, like 3 months ago, maybe. And by the end of this year, we're going to hit $1 million per year, right? So we're going to hit $100,000 per month consistently. We just need 55 clients because we have a recurring revenue. And, the shortest someone works with us is 6 months. So that's absolutely amazing, right? So I'm excited about some of the things that you have to say when it comes to, building recurring revenue model businesses. So, yeah, I'll leave you to it, man. I don't even know what to ask.
Oh, you're kind of, well, congratulations on starting your business. It sounds like you've got a great business model, which is super, super important, right? I think a lot of people hop into business without a lot of clarity as far as goals are concerned. And most of the results in any company or in any individual's lives will come from having really, really clear goals about where they're currently at and where they want to end up, and then being accountable to those goals, right? Holding themselves accountable to doing hard things. I've always said that character is found in consistency. So a lot of times people say, hey, I want to do this, and they may do it for a day or two. A lot of times you'll see at the gym, there's people that set New Year's resolutions and they end up working out for the first couple of weeks of January and maybe into the 1st of February, and they leave. But where people find the results is when they do the hard things that nobody else wants to do, or when everybody else has stopped doing hard things, they keep doing them. And if they can replace motivation with discipline, right? When they don't feel motivated, they just keep doing the tough stuff, they'll get results. And that's how business goes too. And that's the advice I would give to anybody that's starting their own entrepreneurial journey, is just being willing to do hard things, even when you don't feel like doing hard things. Brian Tracy, he's an absolute sales legend, and just one of the coolest guys around. And he would always say, eat that frog. And what he meant by that was, we all wake up every day with things to do. And too often individuals prioritize the things that are easiest first. Right? They'll say, I'll just do the easy things. Then all of a sudden the tough things keep getting pushed off and back and back. But if you can eat that frog, do the tough stuff first, then you'll always end up where you want to go. The last thing I'll say about that is, and then I can answer any other questions too, is in the classic Alice in Wonderland, Alice is trying to figure out where she's at and where she wants to be. And she comes to this tree, and in the tree is this cat, right? It's the Cheshire cat. And the cat asks Alice where she's going, right? And she says, well, I don't know where I'm going, right? And the cat says, well, then it doesn't really matter which road you take, right? Because you'll get somewhere. And so again, going back to this idea, it's super clear that an individual that wants to, make $100,000 in a month, that's fun to do, right? And when people know that's what they want, they can get granular about how to get there, right? Which is super cool.
Granular. Yeah, man, I've gotten granular. Like I literally have a step-by-step roadmap. I know exactly step 1, step 2, step 3. It's really cool. Like I'm almost motivated to like literally share my screen and show you all my roadmap. I literally have one, right? And it's really cool. But I want to talk about replacing motivation with discipline, man. That's something that, it's really easy to say, but it's, hard, a little bit harder to apply. And the reason I want to talk about this is because, a lot of people are motivated by, like they're chasing something. They're chasing, I don't know, like $1 million. They're chasing their dream car or their dream life or whatever. Other people, like they get the motivation from being pushed by something, right? Either they're getting pulled or pushed by something that they fear, by something that they don't want. And I don't have that. I just have this internal motivation, intrinsic motivation, right? Because I'm clear of what I want. I'm clear of what I want, and I'm just building it, right? So what I really want is like create this world movement, helping men become modern gentlemen, which I failed at, right? Like I literally spent like a year. I got on more than 60 sales calls, and I was pitching, I'm 21, and I was 20. I was pitching 30 to 45-year-olds on how to grow their business without sacrificing time, health, and relationships, right? And I was going to turn them into Sorry for the interruption. If you're an aspiring, established coach, course creator, author, and speaker, I want to extend an invitation to check out my free training on the podcast Cloak Track Framework by clicking on the link in the description of this podcast. On this training, you're going to learn how combining podcasting with a rare concept that very few people know about called The Cloak Track can help you build a multi-million-dollar network of successful people who can become your clients, put you in front of hundreds of your ideal clients with your message, coaching, courses, and books, help you become a best-selling author, get you booked to speak on stages, or even making an extra $237,600 in the next 6 months. Click on the link of the description of this podcast to learn about the 4 simple steps to make this work. Step number 1 is alignment. Aligning who you're trying to be, what you're trying to do, your goals and purpose with building your podcast so that podcasting is a vehicle that helps you achieve your goals. Step number 2 is leveraging the Cloak Track to find an unlimited supply of your ideal podcast guest. Step number 3 is leveraging the Cloak Track to close an interview with anyone, no matter how rich, famous, or out of your league they may seem. And step number 4 is the content machine, which is the key to tapping into other people's audiences. These are the 4 steps to making the podcast Cloak Track framework work, and I'm not going to hold anything back on this training. So click on the link in the description of this podcast, go and check it out. And once you've done that, if you feel like this would help, we also have a complimentary, free, absolutely free alignment call to get you started and show you exactly how to implement everything. Get access to the training right now, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this episode. Bye-bye. Modern gentlemen, you might guess how that went. Well, it didn't went well, but I wasn't married to a vehicle. And then all of a sudden I started my podcast because I'm committed to my purpose. And I was like, all right, if this is not working, I'll at least start a podcast interviewing the type of people that I want to become, and whoever listens will benefit. So like the vehicle change, but I mean, I'm like, I don't know what I would call myself, motivated, disciplined, but both, right? But how do you change motivation with discipline?
That's a good question. I think it's a choice that people have to make, and it happens again. I think it's people that are successful feel the same way as people that aren't successful. And what I mean by that is the people that aren't successful will say they don't want to do something. They'll have a feeling about not doing something and they won't do it. The people that are successful will have the same feeling, like, I don't feel like doing this, but they'll do it anyway, right? They choose to do it anyway. And it's just an internal decision, right? And it's about prioritizing time and being able to set aside and block out the things that matter most, having priorities where they need to be, right? And I think it's cool. Like in life, we're all juggling balls, different things that we have to kind of keep in order and on track. Some of those balls are glass and some of them are rubber, right? And we can't afford to drop some of those balls, like our families, right? Those things that need to be prioritized. Our belief systems, things that make us truly happy, that give us meaning and purpose and fulfillment. Other balls can afford to be dropped every once in a while. Like I'm of the opinion that I would never want to miss a kid's baseball game, right? Or a girl's dance class. I want to begin with the end in mind. And so I always want to think about what my life will be like when I am about to pass away, right? When I'm about to die someday. I want the people that matter most to me to be able to know and understand that what I valued in life was my relationships, right? It was people over profits. And that's important, because what's cool is when we prioritize people, profits are a byproduct, right? We end up making a lot of money because we've placed value in helping others get what they want in life. And there's a great book. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. And in that book, Viktor Frankl, he teaches us that those that have a why to live for can bear almost anyhow, right? Which is really, really cool. Because when we have something deep down inside of us that we're trying to accomplish that matters most to us, then we are able to do almost anything, right? We can do some really, really challenging things. And I think that's important. The last thing I'll say, and then I'll ask another or I'll answer whatever other questions you have, is Zig Ziglar. This helps too, right? And kind of placing discipline over motivation is being willing to help other people get what they want in life. Zig Ziglar said, you can have anything you want in life as long as you're willing to help other people get what they want. And that's important for people to understand, right? And placing discipline over motivation.
Yeah. Okay. Man, I love if you have a clear why, you can handle almost any how, right? So, the two most important days in someone's life is when they're born and when they find out why. And when they find out why, from there, like that's the key, I believe, of success, happiness, and fulfillment, right? So like, I believe life is is about purpose, growth, and contribution, right? So if you feel like you don't have purpose, if you haven't found your purpose, whatever that means, right? Then focus on growing and contributing, right? Like everything in nature grows and contributes. If not, if they don't grow or and contributes, it gets taken out of the food chain. So if you focus on growing yourself and contributing, helping other people get what they want, you'll find your purpose, and that is what life is about, right? And and I just love the put people before profits, right? Because life and business is all about people, right? So yesterday I got on a podcast with this gentleman who told me, who shared an amazing insight with me. He said that the main thing that a CEO should focus on is building people, right? Building people so that those people that you build can build your businesses, right? And it was like, yeah, I really liked it, right? So one of the reasons to start my podcast is to, focus on people, to like build relationships and just talk to people, right? Because this is what it's all about, relationships. And when he shared that insight with me, it gave me like a completely new level of awareness when it comes to people is what it's all about, right? So build your people and they'll build your businesses, which I thought that was really cool insight. So man, you're writing a book, right?
Yeah, you bet I am, brother.
What is that about? Like, how is it called? What is it going to be called? What is it about? Yeah.
So the book is all focused on three things: gratitude, growth, and giving.
Nice.
I believe that when anybody's life is out of whack, right, they feel like something's wrong or missing, it's usually attributable to one of those aspects of life not being present or not being focused on as much as it should be. And so I think a lot of times people are more focused on what they don't have in comparison to what they do have, or what they can't control in comparison to what they can control. And they think life happens to them instead of for them. And so they can focus on all of the things they have to be grateful for. I just recently launched a challenge called the G3 Challenge, which is writing down three things that you're grateful for every single day, and then being willing to exercise for 30 minutes a day. This is part of growth, and reading a self-development book for 10 minutes, and then being willing to give something to someone, right? It doesn't have to be money. It could be simply a compliment or a letter or some act of service, right? That just helps people experience more happiness and fulfillment in their lives.
100%. Right. See, and there you have it. Gratitude, purpose, right? Growth and contribution, giving, right? So like I didn't know you were going to talk about this. Like I always say that life is about purpose, growth, and contribution. And I love that, man. So that's what your book is going to be about. So do you tell like personal stories and stuff?
Yeah, there's a lot of stories in the book, a lot of research in the book. It'll be awesome. It's more of a fun book, right? It's more application based, being able to take what's being learned and immediately apply it in, an individual's life so that they can be happier. Right? That's my goal. I want people to have meaning in what they're doing and purpose. And so a lot of times people chase money thinking that it's kind of the end all solution, but I've been grateful to make a good chunk of money, and it doesn't make people happy,
Yeah.
It doesn't. And people think it does. It's kind of this fleeting thing. They'll make a large amount, and then once they hit that, they're like, oh, now I need to make more and need to make more. And it's, instead of just really focusing on the things that matter most, right? Like a great relationship with my sweetheart. She's amazing. She's like my best friend in the entire world. That's super, super fun to have someone like that. Man. It's awesome. Great family members, being able to do fun things, having a lifestyle that allows us to travel and enjoy the world and, appreciate it and other people. It's what I want everyone to be able to have.
Yeah, man. So, like the people who listen to this, man, are, married entrepreneurs with kids, whose main problem, like the most felt, important problem is the money, right? And I talk about freedoms. I talk about physical freedom, emotional freedom, sentimental freedom, financial freedom, to grow and contribute, right? So for physical freedom, you exercise and take a green smoothie every single day. For emotional freedom, you meditate and journal. For sentimental freedom, you express gratitude towards yourself, right, and to other people daily. I do it religiously. And then for financial freedom, you read a personal development book, and then you lay a brick, right? So like and like the people who listen to this, like I said, the problem that they have is like money, right? Like that's like the main most felt problem, not being able to make business work. And one of the things, and like people might think that like they may want to hear the money making strategies, right? But like I want to make sure that they know, that they realize that this is it, right? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think in life we live with different paradigms and paradoxes. And so um one of the paradoxes of life is that when we focus on money, it seems to be fleeting, right? It goes away when
Mm,
people are just focused on just making money. And when we're focused on adding value, like making someone's life a little bit easier, or kind of being with them through the hard things, making their lives just a little bit better, then money is a byproduct because people are willing to pay for value, right? And so money just comes whenever you're willing to work hard and provide something of value. And that's an important piece, for people to understand in life. And we also have to understand that we get paid for value and not time, right? So it's super interesting. Like somebody could be working at McDonald's for 8 hours and they may make, $80 or something, right? Where another person could be working for 8 hours and make $50,000, right?
mm-hmm.
And it's based all on, so it's not it, so money is not measured in time at all. It's measured in added value, and added value is based off of how you can help somebody experience better health, wealth, or relationships, right? One of those three things. And that's whenever you can solve a problem that surrounds one of those three things, you're going to be in a good situation.
Cool. Awesome. There you go. Some money making strategies. So man, you have event. Like I think it's called Champions Corner.
Yeah, that's actually not even released yet. It's cool. So that's something that's coming out within the next several months, which I'm really, really looking forward to. That's going to be a full mastermind program for people to get into, with fun getaways and all kinds of cool things going on. So Zero DS, $0 startup, is focused primarily on helping people build a passive income business, right?
Mhm.
That allows them to kind of live the lifestyle that they've always wanted to live.
A machine. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. With Champions Corner is going to be focused primarily on helping individuals level up personally in their lives.
I like that.
And yeah, man, it'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited about it.
Cool. Sounds like what I'm what I have going on with the Modern Gentleman, helping individuals level up in every single area of their life. Right. So with the $0 startup, you get more into the nitty gritty, the tactical and strategy, right? To help people actually build that machine that will give them freedom, right? And then the Champions Corner, right? You can join that. It's going to be a mastermind program to level up in every single area of your life. I imagine you're going to bring in other high level people, right? To build this community of high level, high performing men who help each other level up, right?
Yeah, men or women. So it can be a male or female that
And that's cool.
join the Champions Corner, which will be a lot of fun. And yeah, I've got some great friends that have been able to accomplish incredible things in their life, and so that will they will be included and involved in kind of some of this training that people will be getting.
Nice. So man, so you have your podcast, a Life Invested. What is that about?
Same type of stuff. So my goal has always been to just add value, right, for people. And so I know individuals are looking for ways to be able to make life a little bit easier and to be able to kind of find necessary shortcuts to get from point A to point B, those goals that they're clear with. And there's really no like silver bullet or actual shortcut in life. It's always going to require some work. But
Yeah,
if I can help them kind of get to the end point with as little amount of pain as possible, then that would be time well invested. And so that's what I do. I invite people onto my show that have been able to do exceptional things with their lives. They're exemplary people in a lot of aspects of life, right? So not just business, but individuals that are great husbands and fathers, or wives or mothers, and have been able to really prioritize the things that matter most.
I like that. Awesome, man. So let's see. So you have Tuple. You're still running Tuple?
Yeah, Tuple's still going. It's an absolute blast, man. It runs
Awesome.
in the background, which is great. I've got a great fulfillment team that does the work there, and I've got some VAs that help there too, which is super, super helpful.
Awesome. Yeah. And then $0 startup. So what is Duvera investment group about?
Duvera is something that I'm not focused primarily on right now. It was going to be a syndication group for multifamily real estate investing. But one of the things I've realized, and that is important, is that when we try to focus on too many things,
Yeah.
our bandwidth becomes limited, right? And so it's kind of like a magnifying glass. I found that if you focus on one thing, there's a whole lot more energy, right? And a whole lot, you get a lot more results because you're willing to focus. And so I've removed Duvera Investment Group right now from a focus of mine, and my primary focus is on $0 startup and building out the Champions Corner.
I like that, man. So, man, you're married, you have kids, is that right?
I don't have kids yet. We're actually
No.
trying right now, and I'm super excited to have kids. I can't wait. I think it'll be awesome, man.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. Especially when like everything is planned and everything. Yeah, that's exciting. So man, I've heard a couple of other, other podcasts, and I've heard you, talk about this concept that I'm about to ask about, which is school, right? So, my daughter, um, I don't like school. I used to be really good at school, but I ended up like not liking it, right? Like I was just good, and I don't know, I didn't even try at school, and for some reason I was good. So like I had like AP classes and stuff like that, but like it didn't help me with anything, right? And like right now with my daughter, I'm thinking about I don't know, man. I don't know. But what I want for her is for she to be able to discover what she's good at, right? Like her gift, her strength, her uniqueness, her genius. And then I don't know, like send her to some superhero school that will exploit that and that will focus on developing that trait in her to the maximum of her capacity, so that she can be like world class at something by the time she's 12, right? So what are your opinion on that? What do you think about school? And like, do you have any plans for when you have kids? And like, what is it that you're going to do with them when it comes to like schooling?
Yeah, that's a great question, Alex. Like super, super good question. I'm really not a big fan of um, brick and mortar education, and I think it's because there's better ways of doing things now than we had in the past. And so, communication wise, right, we've been able to go from horse and buggy and the Pony Express to Morse code to hardline telephones to cell phones, and there's been this continuous improvement on the way that we communicate. Travel's been the same way, where we've gone from again horses to vehicles to being to boats to being able to fly, and we haven't seen a whole lot of disruption when it comes to education for hundreds of years. And so I've been grateful for over the past 10ish years is the kind of this new horizon of education being disrupted and individuals being able to learn about the things that matter most to them individually instead of having to go through curriculum that isn't applicable to their learning styles or what they would actually like to do in life. Right. So I went through an MBA program, and in the program, it's important information that's shared, but I did not feel like it was immediately applicable to being able to have rubber hitting the road and actually making things happen. I think a lot of that experience comes from listening to other people that have been there and done that. And so what I love so much about what we currently have available to us regarding education is that we can find masters of what it is that we want to do and then hire them to teach us. Right. So I'm a much bigger fan of the idea of like education through mentorship. So, and in finding someone that has been able to accomplish something you would like to do, and then paying them to be able to learn whatever unique skill set that is. Like it would have been, in my opinion, like I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins. And so with all the money that I invested in school, I would have rather just have paid him, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be able to learn from what he's been able to do. And so I as far as your other question, when we have kids, we're actually going to discourage them from attending university, right? And they can if they want, if they feel like there's going to be some value that's there going to college. What we'll say is, hey, here's your options. We want you to get the very, very most out of life that you can. We want you to be educated, truly educated, but it doesn't have to happen in the formal, brick and mortar
Way. Yeah.
location. Yeah, right. I think a lot of education comes from just personal desire and hunger for knowledge and being willing to apply it. So we'll encourage our kids to help us understand what they want to do, and we just want to support them in whatever way we can to make their lives as the best they possibly can be.
Okay, so just like unconditional love and support towards whatever it is. So like if they do want to go to college, then like what do you say? What will you say?
I would love that too, right? Like if they want to go to college and there's a reason for it, then
There's a reason. Okay.
I think that's awesome, right? And I think too, no matter what, it's important that my kids will have the ability to be able to make a decision for themselves. So even if I say, hey, I don't feel like college is the best route to go, they can make that choice, right? They could choose to go either way. But I feel there are some professions where a collegiate experience is relevant and helpful, like a lawyer or a doctor, right? Like you want those guys. I wouldn't want some doctor working on me that was learning something off YouTube. But for
Yeah.
in most situations, right, people can learn what they need to learn either from a mentor or from online education that's free.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think about elementary and middle school and high school?
Yeah, I do like those programs, and whether it's again, I think it goes back to more what is being learned and actual education happening in comparison to where it's happening, right? So I'm a big fan of learning in general. I think learning is amazing, and I feel like the more we learn, the more we understand how much we really don't know. There's so much to learn, right? And
Yeah.
so as kids, like I've got family members that choose to do homeschooling and other family members that send kids to public schools. I think both are great as long as the kids are actually learning and learning things that are important and relevant to becoming better and actually helping them learn how to think. Because that's something that I think is missing in university, right? And in colleges, it's more like memorize this information and regurgitate it, right? So take the information in and try to memorize it, and then A, B, C, or D. Right? In real life, it's not at all like that, right? And it's like in college, it's like you can't use a calculator, you can't use your phone. But what's so cool about real life, I mean, if they're actual tests, what it should be is here's a problem you're going to come up against in life. Here's a real challenge you're going to have to figure out. You can use a calculator or a phone or a friend. You can do whatever it is, but how are you going to critically think in order to solve this problem, right? In order to be able to find a real solution that's sustainable to whatever this is. And I think that's where real learning will take place.
I like that. So man, so you've been doing things the right way, right? I would say physical freedom. You right now before the podcast, I talked about those freedoms and how you should do things in a specific order, right? I mean, it's not that you should, right? But everything happens, in a different way for everyone. But just based on the story that my dad told me, physical freedom, you seem pretty in shape. Emotional freedom, financial freedom. You wouldn't have made any business work if you didn't have emotional freedom, right? And then sentimental freedom, becoming a husband, and now you're about to become a father. So have you been doing things? Do you feel like you've been doing things right? Well, it seems like, and if so, how come? Like who taught you? Like who led you?
Dude, that's a good question, man. I think I've had a lot of great people. I think we become like the 5 people that we invest most of our time around, right? And so I'm really, really thankful to have been able to invest my time around great mentors, great individuals, people that think big. There's 3 things in life that I feel like will make a very large difference that I learned from one of my mentors. One of them is be excellent in the basics. The second one is elevate your sights. And the third one is keep it simple. So a lot of times people don't get the results they want because they overcomplicate the solution, right? Or they're not thinking big enough. There's a great book by David Schwartz called The Magic of Thinking Big. And I think people need to realize that life, people can do amazing things, right? Every single thing that we enjoy in life is the brainchild of someone that was willing to act on an idea. And I think that's so cool, right? Like a lot of times there's a great book too called Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. And she talks about how a lot of times people feel like these things just appear, right? Like we have these cars or these planes and it's just, they've always been there, these road systems and all of this stuff, like they've always existed, but that's not the case, right? Somebody at one point had an idea like, man, it'd be kind of nice to get off these horses and get into something that was a little more
Dedicated
efficient.
their life to create it.
Yeah, they built it, right? Like
Yeah.
they took a ton of time to build it. And so many people take that time and those ideas for as an advantage, right? They take it for granted, excuse me. When it's something that really needs to be appreciated, right? What it is. And I've been able to invest my time around people that have been builders, and that's been a lot of fun, right? They've been able to create some meaningful things, and that's inspired me to be able to recognize, understand that if they can do it, if I'm willing to work hard and fail forward and fail fast, then I can do it too. And what I would
Mm-hmm.
say as well, kind of a bit of a potentially like opposite framework that I want to make sure is instilled in my sweetheart and nice kids is this, the beauty of failure, right? Like instead of asking them at the dinner table, hey, you know, how was your day? What'd you succeed at today? I actually want to ask them, hey, where did you fail today? And congratulate them on their failures, right? Like, hey, good
Nice.
for you, right? Like, I'm so glad that you struggled with that. What did you learn? Right? Because that's where they're going to experience the growth.
Cool. I like that. So what were those three things? Excellence in the basics, keeping it simple. What was the second one?
So be excellent in the basics, elevate your sights, and keep it simple. I learned those from one of my mentors who changed my life. Right. And
Nice.
that was super helpful for me and has been very, very beneficial in my business career.
Cool. I love it, man. So, man, we are almost out of time, and I have 5 questions to ask you. Okay. And the first one is, if you could give your 20-year-old self some advice, what would that be?
I think that's a good question, man. I really, really like that question. I think to go easy on myself, right? Like I've always been my hardest critic. And so it's like this, you feel I've been plagued with perfectionism, feeling like things have to be perfect all the time. But I would tell myself like, hey, you're doing a good job, right? And you're right where you need to be. And like, and keep working hard, be willing to fail, be willing to get out of your comfort zone and do things that you're not familiar with, right? And just be willing to learn. And I think all of those things allow an individual to move from where they are to where they want to be.
Nice.
Yeah, you bet.
Have some grace on yourself.
Yeah, have some grace, man. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's important.
Mindset. So what is a mindset shift that you've had that you can share that you think is contributing to your success right now?
Yeah, good question. These are all great questions, Alex. I appreciate them. Yeah, I would say that people need to understand that anything is possible, right? Like they can do anything. And that's an important mindset shift for people to have, right? Some people may think in their minds like, I could never be a public speaker, but everyone has something to share and they can, right? If they want to make a dent in the world, if they want to do some good, they can. They may think, I could never make $100,000 in a month, but they can, right? They can. And it's possible, but it does require a monumental mindset shift, right? And recognizing that anything that they want to accomplish is possible. And again, I'm a big proponent in God. I'm a Christian. And so I believe that when Jesus says things like ask and ye shall receive, knock and it shall be opened unto you, seek and ye shall find, that he means it. I don't think he's joking around. And I think a lot
Yeah.
of times people say they believe that, but they've got to follow through, right, with that belief system and saying, hey, if he says that's true, then I can do things that are challenging.
I love that. Everything is possible, man. Yeah, for sure. I believe that, right? Awesome. I like that. Map, clarity, right? So a lot of people lack clarity and or may need clarity. So do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, I think a lot of times it's interesting. Like an individual will invest, or they think they're investing time in just going all the time, right? Nonstop. And they feel like that's how you get results. But one of the best things an individual can do is actually slow down, right? And just be willing to think and invest time in figuring out what it is that they want in life. That's probably not probably, it is one of the most meaningful practices an individual can choose to participate in life. Winston Churchill, who's arguably one of the world's greatest leaders, would take 2 baths in a day sometimes, right? And he wouldn't start his workday till 12 o'clock. And it's because he took time to think, right? Which is super, super cool. Now, I'm not saying that's best practice for anyone, but there's a reason he was such a great thinker and such a great leader. And it was because he wasn't running around like a chicken with his head cut off, right?
Yeah.
He knew what he wanted and he was able to execute based off of plans that had been made.
Plan, organize, execute. A lot of entrepreneurs do not take time to think, plan, or organize because they feel they're wasting time. And they're just like executing, not really getting anywhere because like the Alice Wonderland story that you said right now, they don't even know where they're going. So
That's
it doesn't
right.
really matter.
That's right.
Mindset map, motion. So what is one habit that you have right now, man, that you think is contributing to your success?
Yeah, I think habits are everything, right? Again, character is found in consistency. And so I think I've gotten into a habit, and I want to be very vulnerable in saying it's hard, right? Like sometimes people will look at me or anybody in business that's found some amount of success, and they'll say, oh, it just must be so easy for them, right, to do these things. And it's not. It's very hard. It's very, very challenging, right? And so like doing the tough stuff, like waking up in the morning, I like mornings, and that's not something that is naturally inside of me. I had to learn how to enjoy mornings, right? And then going to the gym when your body says I'm exhausted, I don't want to go to the gym, you just go anyway, right?
Yeah.
Eating good food, I track macros. That's not something that's super fun to do, but it can be very, very helpful, right? And getting
And
to a
rewarding.
goal. Yeah, right. And so I think one of the best things that someone can do if they're wanting to achieve big things is get used to doing hard stuff, right? And Brian Tracy also said this. He says, if you do easy things, life will be hard. But if you do hard things, your life will be easy. And I could never agree more. And I think that's a great habit for people to get into.
Awesome. And the last question, man, I know that you have a hard stop right now in about a minute, is what do you think about measuring and tracking?
I think it's not just like a good idea. I think it's absolutely necessary. So people that think they can get results without being accountable in some way, they're fooling themselves, right? Like, and what's cool is once you've measured something, you're going to improve a lot quicker, right? The rate of improvement will increase. So it's super cool. Like you can say, all right, here's where I'm at right now. Here's where I want to be. And then you can track where you're at in between. And it doesn't have to be mosaic and rote and annoying to do all of this stuff. There's methods that allow you to be able to track in a reasonable way that still allows for some freedom, right? In these kind of mile markers that you set for yourself to get to wherever it is that you're going.
Awesome. Well, Roger, man, I really liked this conversation. I had a lot of fun. And we have all of the stuff, right, which we're going to put wherever this appears. But is there any other special way in which people can find you very easily?
Yeah, people can follow me on Instagram. That's where my main community is at. So Instagram, it's roger.comstock. They could add me on Facebook if they would like, or they can go to our website, $0startup.com. That's a place they can learn a little bit more about the company. I've got a website launching within the next 3 months that is just rogercomstock.com. So
Nice.
any of those places should be great, my friend.
Awesome, brother. So I'll let you get to your next meeting, man. And thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate you. And bye-bye, man.
Dude, thank you. I want to tell you thank you as well, Alex. I really, really appreciate you taking the time. It's very kind of you. And I love what you're doing. I think you're changing the world, dude, making a positive dent on this place.
Me too. I like to think that as well. Bye-bye, man.
Right.
See you
Thank
later.
you, brother.
Thank you for watching the Gentleman's Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with one friend, leave us a comment, and let us know. 99% of people never leave a review or comment, but we love and are very thankful with the 1% of you who do. If there's something or someone you want to see on this podcast, send me a message on Instagram at Alex_Ramirez1020 and let me know. As a thank you for that, I have an amazing surprise for each and every one of you who does take the time to leave us a comment or review on YouTube or one of the major podcasting platforms